The day was hot and dusty in the old market district. The stalls were made of rusted metal, patched together with scraps of plastic and cloth. The air smelled of fried oil and smoke. People shouted, bargained, and argued about prices. Some wore fine clothes, but most looked poor and tired. Among them walked Jalen, a thin young man with worn boots and a patched coat. Jalen had nothing but a few coins in his pocket. He had not eaten since yesterday. His stomach ached, but he kept walking through the crowd. His eyes searched for anything he could sell or trade. At the far end of the market, a small jewelry stall caught his attention. It was different from the others. The stall was quiet, almost hidden. The old man who ran it looked half asleep. Jalen moved closer. On the stall's wooden table were a few broken chains, dull rings, and one strange bracelet. The bracelet was silver, but not like any silver Jalen had ever seen. It shined even in the shadows as if it carried its own light. Strange symbols ran along its surface, glowing faintly blue. Jalen felt his chest tighten. The bracelet looked alive. "Price?" Jalen asked in a low voice. The old man opened one eye, then the other. He frowned. "That thing? Nobody wants it. Cursed, they say. Take it for 3 coins, Jalen hesitated. 3 coins was all he had left. He should buy bread, water, something to survive. But the bracelet pulled at him like it was calling his name. His hand shook as he placed the coins on the table. The old man gave a tired shrug. "Your problem now." Jalen slipped the bracelet onto his wrist. It fit perfectly, as though made for him. The blue glow brightened for a moment, then faded. No one else in the market seemed to notice. Far away in the skies above Earth, an alien ship drifted silently. It was massive, shaped like a crescent moon glowing with golden light. Inside its grand halls walked Lord Sarath, one of the richest and most powerful beings in the galaxy. His wealth was greater than the treasuries of entire planets. He had built empires, destroyed rivals, and bent entire species to his will. But today he was restless. Lord Sarath sat in his private chamber, surrounded by treasures from across the stars. Yet his eyes were fixed on a single empty pedestal. Once, long ago, that pedestal held a bracelet. He had given it away, a gift of love and promise. The memory still burned in his heart, though centuries had passed. Suddenly, his ship's AI spoke. "My lord, I have detected a faint signal." Sarath's eyes narrowed. "A signal?" "Yes, from the lost bracelet. It has awakened." For a moment, Sarath could not move. His chest rose and fell slowly. He whispered, "Show me." A screen lit up before him. It displayed a crowded human market, dirty and loud. Among the crowd, a thin human boy stood out. On his wrist glowed the bracelet Sarath had once given away. Sarath leaned forward, his hands trembling. "Impossible." Back in the market, Jalen walked quickly, pulling his sleeve down to cover the bracelet. He didn't want others to see it. Something about it felt too important, too dangerous, but he could not explain why. As he moved through the alleys, he felt strange sensations. His mind grew sharper, his hearing clearer. He could hear voices far away, even the beating of his own heart. Jalen stumbled and leaned against a wall, trying to calm himself. Then he heard a whisper in his mind. "You are not alone." Jalen froze. He looked around, but no one was there. "You are chosen," the voice said again. Jalen's breath came fast. He wanted to tear the bracelet off, but it would not move. It clung to his skin like a part of him. At that same moment, above the earth, Lord Sarath rose from his throne. His eyes burned with fire. "The human has my gift," he said. "Prepare the ship. We go to Earth." Night fell on the market. Jalen found a corner to rest, his back against a wall. The bracelet still glowed faintly. He tried to sleep, but the whispers in his mind would not stop. "You are seen. You are marked. You are not forgotten." Jalen covered his ears, but the voice was inside him. He wondered if he was going mad. Yet deep inside, he felt something else. A strange strength, as if the bracelet carried power he had never known. He did not know that far above, an alien billionaire powerful beyond imagination, was already on his way to meet him, and when they met, the fate of both man and alien would change forever. The morning sun rose over the market, painting the rooftops gold. Jalen was still awake, sitting against the wall with tired eyes. He had not slept all night. The bracelet had whispered to him again and again, strange words he did not understand. His mind felt heavy, but his body buzzed with energy. He pulled his sleeve higher and studied the glowing band. The blue symbols shifted slowly, as if alive. They formed shapes he could not read, yet they felt familiar. A child passed by, saw the bracelet, and pointed. "Shiny," the boy said with a smile. Jalen quickly hit his arm. Fear gripped him. He had a strange feeling that the more people saw it, the more danger he would attract. He stood up and left the corner, blending into the crowd once more. High above Earth, Lord Sarath's ship pierced the edge of the atmosphere. Unlike human machines, it moved without sound, without fire, as if space itself opened a path for it. Lord Sarath stood at the great window of his chamber, gazing down at the blue and green planet. His face was strong and sharp, his eyes glowing gold. His long robe shimmered with jewels from worlds no human had ever seen. "This world," Sarath said, his voice deep, "is full of noise and dust, but among them walks the boy who carries what is mine." The ship's AI replied, "Shall I prepare the hunters, my lord?" Sarath shook his head. "No, I will see him myself. This is not a matter for soldiers. It is a matter of memory." Back in the city, the market continued as always. People bought food, traded tools, and shouted over prices. Jalen tried to act normal, but his heart beat faster every minute. Something was coming. He could feel it like thunder waiting behind the clouds. Suddenly, the air grew still. A hush spread through the market. Dogs began to bark. A shadow fell across the stalls. Everyone looked up. A shape appeared in the sky, bright, golden, and vast. It was unlike any aircraft humans had ever built. It moved with silent grace, lowering itself toward the city. The people panicked. Some screamed, others ran. Stalls collapsed as the crowd pushed through the narrow streets. Jalen stood frozen. His eyes were wide. He knew without knowing how that they had come for him. The bracelet on his wrist grew warmer, glowing brighter than ever before. The ship stopped above the square. A beam of golden light cut through the air, touching the ground. Out of that light stepped Lord Sarath. The alien was taller than any man, his skin a shade of silver with golden markings across his face. His robe shimmered as though woven from starlight. His eyes scanned the market, sharp and unyielding. People fell silent, staring in awe and fear. No one moved. Sarath's gaze locked onto Jalen. "There," Sarath whispered. His voice carried like thunder across the square. Jalen felt his legs weaken. He wanted to run, but he could not. The alien walked toward him, each step smooth and deliberate. The crowd pulled back, leaving Jalen alone in the open. "You," Sarath said, his eyes never leaving the bracelet. "Where did you find that?" Jalen's mouth was dry. I bought it. From a stall. It was nothing. Just a trinket." Sarath's expression hardened. "That is no trinket. That is mine." He raised his hand. The bracelet responded instantly, glowing with fierce blue light. Jalen cried out, clutching his arm. The energy rushed through his body like fire and lightning. He fell to his knees, gasping for breath. Sarath lowered his hand, studying the boy. "Strange," he murmured. "It accepts you. That should not be possible." Jalen forced himself to speak through the pain. "Take it, I don't want it." He pulled at the bracelet with both hands, but it would not move. The band clung to his skin, unbreakable. Sarath's golden eyes narrowed. For a moment his face softened. Not with anger, but with something like sorrow. "I gave this bracelet long ago," Sarath said quietly, almost to himself. "To someone I loved. Someone who is gone." The crowd around them whispered, too afraid to come closer. To them it was like watching God speak. Jalen shook his head. "Then why me?" "I don't even know you." Sarath leaned closer, his voice low and heavy. "That is the question, human. Why you?" The bracelet pulsed again, and Jalen heard the whisper in his mind. He remembers. He cannot forget. "And neither can you." Jalen's eyes widened. The voice was not his own. It was older, sad, and powerful. Sarath stepped back, his robe flowing behind him. "I must know why it chose you. Until then, you will stay with me." Jalen's heart raced. "Stay with you?" The alien lord nodded. "You carry a piece of my past, and now perhaps a piece of my future. You belong to me." Before Jalen could answer, the golden light surrounded him. The crowd gasped as both man and alien rose into the air, lifted toward the waiting ship. The last thing Jalen saw was the terrified faces of the market people shrinking below. Then the ship swallowed him and the city disappeared from view. Above the world, the poor boy with nothing was now trapped inside the palace of a billionaire alien, with a bracelet that should never have been his. And Lord Sarath, for the first time in centuries, felt the fire of memory burn bright again. The golden light faded and Jalen stumbled forward. His feet touched a smooth floor shining like polished crystal. He gasped, looking around. He was no longer in the market. He stood inside a massive hall, its ceiling high and curved, glowing with soft blue light. The walls were covered in strange patterns that seemed to move when he blinked. The air smelled clean, almost too clean, with a faint sweetness. Jalen felt small, lost in a place too perfect to be real. Behind him, the golden beam vanished, sealing him inside. He turned quickly, panic rising. There was no door, no way out. Then he heard footsteps. Lord Sereth entered the hall, walking with calm pride. His robe shimmered like starlight, and his golden eyes glowed faintly. Behind him floated two strange machines, silent and sharp like armored guards. Jalen backed away. Where am I? Sereth raised one hand, showing the vast room. You're in my ship, my home. My palace among the stars. Jalen shook his head. I don't belong here. I'm just nobody. The alien's eyes studied him with quiet intensity. No, you are not nobody. You carry that. His gaze dropped to the bracelet glowing on Jalen's wrist. Jalen held up his arm helplessly. I told you, I don't want it. It won't come off. Sereth stepped closer. His voice softened, but there was weight in every word. That bracelet was mine. I gave it away long ago to one I loved more than all the worlds. She is gone now, but the gift remains, and somehow human, it has chosen you. Jalen's chest tightened. He looked at the alien lord, confused. Why me? I don't even know you. I don't know her. I just bought it for 3 coins. Sereth frowned, his jaw tightening. 3 coins? He almost laughed, though there was no humor in his tone. That bracelet is worth more than the wealth of your entire planet. And yet it ended in your hands. The universe has strange plans. Jalen swallowed hard. He felt like a mouse caught in a lion's gaze. The alien lord turned, walking slowly across the hall. You are poor, weak, forgotten among your own kind, and yet you wear what even kings could not hold. Jalen's fists clenched. Shame burned in his chest. It was true, he had nothing. No family, no power, no future. Just hunger and survival. But the way Sereth said it made the word sting even more. I didn't ask for this, Jalen whispered. Sereth stopped and looked back at him. Neither did I. For a long moment the hall was silent. Finally, Sereth gestured. A seat rose from the floor, made of shining metal and soft fabric. Sit, you are shaking. Jalen hesitated but slowly lowered himself into the seat. It molded around him, strangely comfortable. His body wanted to relax, but his mind refused. Sereth remained standing. His golden eyes dimmed slightly as though lost in thought. She was human like you. Jalen blinked. She what? Sereth nodded slowly. Centuries ago I traveled to Earth in secret. Among your kind I met her. She was strong, curious, fearless. I gave her the bracelet as a promise. But time is cruel. She died as humans do while I remained. Jalen stared at the bracelet, his heart pounding. He whispered, So this belonged to her? Yes, Sereth said softly. And through some mystery it now binds to you. Jalen felt the weight of the band on his wrist. It was no longer just strange metal. It was a story, a memory, a piece of love long gone. The silence stretched until Jalen spoke again. If it's yours, then take it back. Sereth's eyes hardened. I cannot. The bond has chosen. If I force it, it will destroy you. And I would lose it forever. Fear rushed through Jalen. He imagined burning alive, his body torn apart by alien power. Then what happens to me? Sereth studied him carefully. That depends. Perhaps you die if the bond rejects you. Perhaps you live and become something greater than yourself. I must know which. Jalen's voice cracked. I don't want to die. The alien lord stepped closer, his presence heavy as a mountain. Then prove you deserve to live. At that moment the hall shifted. A doorway opened, glowing bright. Jalen saw a vast chamber beyond, filled with strange machines, weapons, and thrones of gold. It was like stepping into a dream of endless power. Sereth gestured. Come, I will test you. If the bracelet has truly chosen you, then it will awaken more of its power. If not, your story ends here. Jalen's legs felt weak, but something deep inside pushed him forward. He stood, his breath unsteady, and followed the alien through the doorway. The bracelet pulsed against his skin. A whisper brushed his mind again. Do not fear. You were chosen for a reason. Jalen clenched his fist, his heart racing. He didn't know why, but for the first time a spark of courage lit inside him. As the door closed behind them, he knew there was no turning back. The chamber Jalen entered was larger than any building he had ever seen. Its walls stretched so far and high that they disappeared into shadows. Strange lights floated in the air like silent stars glowing softly. The floor was smooth and black like glass, reflecting every movement. Jalen's steps echoed as he followed Lord Sarath into the center. His heart pounded in his chest. He felt small like an insect inside a giant's cage. Sarath stopped and raised his hand. Instantly, the lights above shifted. The chamber came alive. The floor moved and shaped itself, rising into tall pillars. Machines unfolded from the wall, sharp and glowing like armored beasts preparing to strike. Jalen froze. What is this? Sarath's voice was calm, almost cold. Your trial. The bracelet chooses, but it must prove. If it accepts you, you will survive. If not. He paused, his golden eyes narrowing. Then the universe has no place for you. Jalen's throat tightened. Wait, I can't fight machines like that. You are no longer just anything, Sarath interrupted. His deep voice echoed through the chamber. The moment you put it on, you became part of something greater. Now show me. Before Jalen could answer, one of the machines leaped forward. Its body was shaped like a wolf, its eyes burning red. It landed with a crash, its claws scraping sparks across the floor. Jalen stumbled backward, his hands raised. No, wait! The machine charged. Its jaws opened wide, metal teeth gleaming. Jalen screamed, throwing his arms up to protect himself. The bracelet flared. Blue light burst out, forming a glowing shield in front of him. The machine slammed into it and was thrown back with a loud crack. Jalen blinked, breathing hard, staring at the shimmering barrier that had appeared out of nowhere. What was that? He whispered. Sarath's eyes glowed brighter. The beginning. The wolf machine rose again, circling. Another joined it, crawling from the shadows, then a third. Jalen's legs shook. He wanted to run, but there was nowhere to go. Move, the voice in his mind whispered. Do not freeze. Trust the bond. Jalen clenched his teeth. The wolves charged together. He swung his arm without thinking. The bracelet responded, releasing a whip of blue energy. It cracked through the air, striking one of the machines and shattering it into pieces. Jalen gasped. He had never held a weapon in his life, but the bracelet moved as though it knew exactly what to do. The other two wolves leaped. Jalen rolled across the floor, the bracelet glowing brighter with every breath. He raised his hand and a blast of energy shot out, throwing one machine into a pillar. It exploded in sparks. The last wolf pounced. Jalen barely managed to lift his arm. The shield appeared again, blocking its jaws. With a desperate shout, he shoved forward, and the bracelet's energy surged, sending the machine flying into the wall. It shattered into glowing fragments. Silence filled the chamber. Jalen stood trembling, his chest heaving, his arm still glowing. He looked down at the bracelet in shock. I did that? Sarath stepped closer, his face unreadable. Yes, you did. Jalen shook his head. No, it was the bracelet. Not me. Sarath's voice deepened. The bracelet is only a tool. It cannot fight by itself. It needed your will, your fear, your anger. Without you, it is only metal. Jalen stared at him, struggling to believe. But I don't know how. I've never fought anything in my life. Sarath tilted his head. Yet you fought now. And you survived. Jalen lowered his arm slowly. The glow of the bracelet dimmed. He sank to his knees, his strength gone. His hands shook and sweat dripped from his forehead. He felt sick, but also alive. The voice in his mind whispered again. You are chosen. You are more than you believe. He swallowed hard, his voice breaking. I didn't want this. Sarath's expression softened for a moment. Neither did she. Jalen looked up. The woman? Yes, Sarath said quietly. She was human like you. She was no warrior, no leader. Yet she carried this bracelet with honor. And it changed her, as it is changing you. Jalen's eyes burned, though he didn't know why. A part of him wanted to throw the bracelet away. But another part, the part that felt the power rushing through him, did not want to let go. Sarath turned away, his robe flowing behind him. Rest. The first trial is over. There will be more. Jalen's heart dropped. More? The alien lord did not answer directly. He stopped at the edge of the chamber, his voice echoing. The universe watches, human. If you are to carry what was once mine, you must prove worthy not only to me, but to all who will come for you. The doors opened, and two floating machines drifted forward. They surrounded Jalen but did not attack. Instead, they guided him toward a smaller room glowing with soft light. Jalen walked, his legs weak, his mind racing. He did not know if he was prisoner or guest, chosen or cursed. All he knew was that the bracelet would not let him go, and neither would Lord Sarath. That night, as Jalen lay on the strange bed inside his chamber, the stars outside glowed brighter than ever. He stared at them, whispering to himself, "I was nothing, just poor Jalen from the streets." But now, he looked down at the bracelet, glowing faintly in the dark. "Now I don't even know who I am anymore." The voice in his mind answered gently, "You will learn. The choice is yours." Jalen closed his eyes, unsure if the voice was a comfort or a curse. Jalen woke to silence. For a moment he forgot where he was. The bed beneath him was soft, smoother than anything he had ever touched. The air smelled fresh, almost like a garden after rain. Then he remembered. The market, the alien ship, the fight with the machines. His eyes flew open. The ceiling above him glowed faint blue like the inside of a crystal. His heart sank. He was still here. The bracelet pulsed faintly on his wrist. The memory of its power rushed back to him. The shield, the whip, the blast of energy. He touched it carefully, half expecting it to burn him. But it was warm, almost gentle, like a living thing resting against his skin. A soft sound filled the room. The wall opened and Lord Sarath entered. He looked as perfect as before, tall and glowing with silent power. His golden eyes locked onto Jalen at once. "You survived your first trial," Sarath said. "Good." Jalen sat up quickly, his stomach tight. "Why are you making me do this?" "I didn't ask for any of it." Sarath stepped closer. His expression was calm, but his voice carried weight. "Because the moment that bracelet chose you, your life stopped being your own." Jalen clenched his fists. "Then take it back!" "I don't want it." The alien lord's eyes narrowed. "You think I have not tried? Do you know how many kings, warriors, and rulers begged me for it? Do you know how many I killed to keep it safe, and yet it rejected them all?" He pointed at Jalen's wrist. "But it accepts you, a boy with nothing. That is why I cannot take it back, and why others will come for you." Jalen's breath caught. "Others?" Sarath nodded. "The bracelet is more than metal. It is a relic older than my empire, older than your world. It holds memory, power, and secrets that even I have not unlocked. Many across the stars would kill to claim it. Some already know it has awakened. They will come," Jalen's stomach twisted. "So I'm just a target now? I'll die because of this thing?" Sarath's gaze softened slightly. "Not if you learn to wield it. With it you can defend yourself. Without it you are already dead." The words echoed in Jalen's mind. He felt the weight of the bracelet heavier than before. It wasn't just a strange trinket. It was a curse dragging him into battles he never wanted. Sarath turned and gestured. A section of the wall shifted, revealing a large window that opened to the stars. The view was endless, glittering with millions of lights. Earth floated below, small and fragile. "This is the universe you have been pulled into," Sarath said. "Beautiful, dangerous, full of predators that see your world as nothing but prey." Jalen stared, his mouth dry. "And you? Are you one of them?" Sarath's jaw tightened. He did not answer at once. "I am something else. I build, I rule, I remember." His eyes flicked toward the bracelet. "And I regret." Jalen studied him carefully. For the first time he saw more than power in the alien's face. There was pain there, hidden under the strength. "The woman you gave this to," Jalen said slowly. "You really loved her." Sarath's golden eyes dimmed. "Yes, and I lost her to time as I lose everything. But the bracelet remained. I thought it would stay silent forever, and then, you." Jalen lowered his gaze, whispering, "I'm not her. I'm not special." But the voice in his mind whispered again, "You are chosen because you are not her. You are yourself." He shivered, wondering if Sarath heard it too. The alien lord turned away. "You will face more trials. You must learn quickly. Soon ships will come seeking the bracelet. Some will want to steal it. Others will want to kill you. And some may try to use you against me." Jalen's chest tightened. "Why me? Why not give it to someone stronger? Someone who wants it?" Sarath looked back at him, his eyes sharp. "Because it did not choose them. Power cannot be forced. It must be earned. You are the one it sees." Jalen shook his head. "I don't know if I can do this." Sarath's expression softened just slightly. "You will, or you will die trying. That is the way of the stars." The floating machines returned, hovering by the doorway. One carried a tray with food unlike anything Jalen had seen. Glowing fruits, bread that shimmered faintly, water that sparkled like silver. His stomach growled loudly. Sarath gave a faint smile. Eat. You will need your strength. Jalen grabbed the bread, biting into it quickly. It was warm and soft, filling his stomach in seconds. He ate until he could breathe again. The bracelet pulsed on his wrist, almost pleased. Sarath turned to leave. Before he stepped out, he spoke once more. Rest while you can. Tomorrow the next trial begins. The door closed, leaving Jalen alone. Jalen leaned back, wiping crumbs from his mouth. His body was full, but his mind was restless. He looked out the window at Earth below, glowing in the dark. I was just trying to survive one more day, he whispered. Now, I might not survive at all. The bracelet glowed softly, whispering again. Survival is not enough. You were meant for more. Jalen clenched his fist, staring at the stars. For the first time, anger stirred in his chest, not just fear. He wanted answers. He wanted to know why the universe had dragged him into this. And if Sarah thought he was just a pawn, then Jalen would prove him wrong. The next day came without sunrise. On the alien ship, time flowed differently. The walls glowed softly to mark the passing hours, but Jalen could not tell if it was morning or night. He had not slept well. Dreams of the market, the machines, and the bracelet had kept him awake. When the door opened, Lord Sarath stood waiting. His robe shimmered faint gold, his presence filling the room. The golden eyes locked on Jalen with quiet force. It is time, Sarath said simply. Jalen swallowed hard. His body was still sore from the first trial, but there was no choice. He stood and followed the alien through long, shining halls. The ship hummed softly, alive like a beating heart. At last they reached another vast chamber. This one was darker, the air heavy. Strange runes glowed across the walls. In the center stood a circle carved into the floor, its edges shining faint red. This is not like before, Sarath said, his voice deep. The first trial tested your strength. This one will test your mind, Jalen frowned. My mind? Sarath nodded. The bracelet holds memory, older than my people, older than this galaxy. It will show you pieces of its truth. If you accept them, you may grow stronger. If you break, it will consume you. Jalen's chest tightened. Consume me? Sarath's eyes did not waver. Yes, Jalen stepped into the circle. At once the bracelet flared, blindingly bright. The floor vanished under his feet. He cried out, but he did not fall. Instead, he floated in a world of light. Images rushed past him. Cities made of crystal, skies filled with ships, creatures of fire and shadow locked in war. He saw stars being born and stars dying in silence. Voices whispered in languages he did not know but somehow understood. Then he saw her, a human woman standing proud among aliens. Her hair was dark, her eyes fierce. On her wrist glowed the same bracelet. She raised her arm and armies stopped. She spoke and even lords bowed their heads. Jalen's heart pounded. Was this the woman Sarath loved? Her voice echoed through him. This is not power. It is memory. It does not belong to one. It belongs to all who are chosen to carry it. Do not let it break you. The vision shattered. Jalen gasped, falling to his knees. His hands trembled. The bracelet burned against his skin. Enough, he whispered. I can't, but the visions did not stop. They grew darker. He saw armies burning, planets shattered, voices screaming. He saw Sarath himself, younger, standing proud above ruins, his golden eyes cold as fire. Around him, corpses of humans and aliens alike lay scattered. Conquer, a voice whispered. Rule, take what is yours. Jalen clutched his head. His breath came fast. No. I don't want this. The voices grew louder. You are weak. You are nothing. Only through us can you matter. Give in. Give yourself. Jalen's body shook. His vision blurred. He felt himself slipping, falling into the storm of voices. Then another whisper broke through. Softer. Clearer. You are not nothing. You are Jalen. You survived hunger. You survived the streets. You can survive this too. The voice was his own. Jalen forced his eyes open. The storm of visions cracked. He clenched his fist, holding the bracelet tight. No, I'm not nothing. Not anymore. Blue light exploded from his body, breaking the shadows. The visions shattered like glass. He fell forward onto the smooth floor of the chamber, gasping for air. The red circle faded. The room returned. Sarath stood above him, golden eyes watching closely. For once there was no coldness in them, only a faint trace of respect. You resisted, Sarath said slowly. Good. Many greater than you have failed this trial. Jalen wiped sweat from his face, still shaking. I saw her. The woman. She wore this bracelet before me. Sarath's voice lowered. Yes, you saw her memory. You carry a piece of her now. Jalen's eyes burned. And I saw you, destroying, killing. For a moment, Sarath did not answer. His jaw tightened. The past is full of blood, even mine. Do not think me innocent. Jalen stared at him, his chest heavy. He whispered, Then why should I trust you? Before Sarath could reply, the chamber trembled. A loud alarm filled the ship. The walls glowed red. The ship's AI spoke, its voice sharp. Warning. An unknown fleet approaches. Weapons armed. Hostile intent detected. Sarath's head snapped toward the sound. His eyes blazed. So soon. Jalen's blood ran cold. They're coming? For the bracelet? Yes, Sarath growled. Faster than I expected. The AI's voice continued. 3 ships. Smaller than ours, but armed. They demand we surrender the human. Jalen's heart froze. His hands went cold. Me? Sarath turned back to him, his robe glowing faint gold in the red alarm light. Yes, they know, and they will not stop. He stepped forward, his presence heavy as thunder. You wanted to know why I push you? This is why. Because the moment that bracelet woke on your wrist, you were no longer hidden. You are hunted. Jalen's chest heaved. His voice shook. What happens now? Sarath's golden eyes narrowed. Now human. We see if you can fight not just for yourself, but for the fate of everyone who dares to claim you. The alarms shook the ship. Red light flashed across the walls and the floor trembled under Jalen's feet. He clutched the bracelet, feeling it pulse in rhythm with his racing heart. Through the window, 3 dark ships appeared against the stars. They were smaller than Sarath's vessel, but moved with sharp speed. Their black hulls were covered in spikes and their weapons glowed with hungry fire. They want me, Jalen whispered. Yes, Sarath said, standing tall, his golden eyes blazing. They believe you are weak. They believe you can be taken. They are wrong. The AI spoke again, its voice cold. Hostile fleet charging weapons. Shields at 60%. Recommendation, retreat or destroy. Sarath shook his head. No retreat. Not while they dare insult me by demanding what is mine. He looked down at Jalen. This is your moment, human. Fight or die. The choice is yours, Jalen's stomach twisted. His legs felt heavy. He wanted to scream that he was no warrior, that he was just a poor boy who never asked for this. But deep inside the bracelet pulsed stronger, whispering, You are not nothing. You are chosen, stand. He closed his eyes, breathing hard. When he opened them again, fear still burned in his chest, but beneath it was something new. Anger. Resolve. I'll fight, Jalen said softly. Then louder, I'll fight! Sarath's golden eyes narrowed, and for the first time a smile curved his lips. Good, the chamber's floor shifted. Walls opened, revealing a vast command deck filled with glowing controls. Sarath moved to the center, but his eyes remained on Jalen. Focus on the bracelet, Sarath commanded. See the ships in your mind. Command it to protect us, Jalen raised his arm. The bracelet flared, blue light racing along its symbols. His body trembled as the images filled his head. 3 ships circling like vultures, weapons glowing, ready to strike. He clenched his fist. Shields rise. Outside the window, the ship's golden shields flared brighter, expanding in a dome of light. The first volley of enemy fire struck, exploding against the barrier. The ship shook, but the shields held. Jalen gasped, his body shaking. It worked. Sarath's voice thundered. Do not stop now. Strike back! Jalen raised his arm again, the bracelet burning hot. He pictured the nearest ship, sharp and spiked, circling like a predator. He focused all his fear and rage into a single command. Fire! Blue light surged from the bracelet, flowing into the ship's weapons. Outside, golden beams of energy erupted, slamming into the enemy vessel. The black ship shuddered, then exploded in fire and fragments. The market boy who once begged for bread had just destroyed a ship of war. Jalen staggered, almost falling. The bracelet burned against his skin, but he held firm. The whispers in his head grew louder, proud. Yes. Stand, fight, live. The other 2 ships swarmed closer, firing together. The golden shields cracked under the impact. Sparks filled the command deck. Shields failing, the AI warned. Jalen grit his teeth. No, hold. The bracelet pulsed. The shields flared brighter, sealing cracks, reforging themselves stronger than before. Sarath's eyes widened. For a moment, his mask of pride slipped and awe crossed his face. The second enemy ship swooped low. Jalen raised his arm, summoning another blast. But the ship dodged and fired, hitting Sarath's vessel hard. The floor shook violently, throwing Jalen to the ground. Pain shot through his arm. He screamed. The bracelet flared, flooding him with energy. Images flashed. Sarath's woman standing proud, refusing to yield. The memory gave him strength. Jalen rose again, eyes burning. He pointed his arm at the ship. "No more running!" A massive beam of blue fire erupted, brighter than anything before. It tore through the enemy vessel, splitting it apart. Pieces burned and vanished into the void. One ship remained. The last vessel circled, slower now, almost afraid. But then it fired its strongest weapon. A massive beam of red light cutting through the stars. The golden shields cracked again. Jalen's knees buckled. His body screamed in pain. He could not hold it much longer. Sarath stepped beside him, placing one hand on his shoulder. His voice was low but steady. "You are not alone, together." Jalen looked up at him. For the first time, the alien lord's eyes did not seem cold. They seemed human. Jalen nodded. Together. They raised their arms at once. Gold and blue light merged, forming a storm of energy. The blast erupted, meeting the red beam head-on. The void shook with fire and thunder. For a long moment, it seemed the enemy would win. But then Jalen roared, forcing every piece of himself into the bond. The bracelet blazed like a star. The enemy ship exploded, torn apart in brilliant fire. Silence returned to the stars. Jalen collapsed, gasping for air. The bracelet dimmed but still glowed faintly, alive. Sarath stood tall, his golden eyes fixed on him. Slowly, he bent and helped Jalen to his feet. "You fought," Sarath said softly. "And you won." Jalen's chest heaved. I'm still alive." Sarath's face grew serious. "Yes, but this was only the beginning. Others will come stronger, more ruthless. The universe will not stop hunting you now." Jalen looked at Earth, shining below like a fragile jewel. He thought of the market, of the old man's stall, of his empty stomach. And he thought of the fire he had unleashed among the stars. He clenched his fist. "Then let them come." Sarath studied him for a long moment. Finally, he nodded once, almost like a bow. "Perhaps humanity is not as weak as I once believed." That night, Jalen sat alone in his chamber. The bracelet glowed faintly in the dark. He touched it gently. "I was nothing," he whispered. "Now I'm something. I don't know what yet, but I'll find out." The voice whispered back. "You are not nothing. You never were." Jalen closed his eyes, and for the first time in his life, he did not feel small. He felt chosen.